guys, today I'll be showing you how I got this beautiful flared skirt made. So I've done a pattern tutorial on how to make the flared skirt. If you are just joining us, you can go back to my video and check out how I made it. So here I am trying to cut out the band for the skirt, so I decided to go for the width of 5 inches, and then I'm rolling it vertically, and I'm going to measure my waist measurement and get it across. So once we get that, we will just roll a straight line and connect all the dots together and get out our band, because band is very essential for our skirt. So cutting it out now, you make sure you cut everything properly and you make sure that everything is in place, nothing is missing, so you don't end up with an unequal band. For instances of this where my material wasn't enough, I cut off that part away and I added another part to make it complete. So here is my pattern that we'll be working with today. I've already cut, like I said in my last video, I cut this beautiful ankara. If you want to see how I did that, you can watch my last video on the pattern and how I cut it. So we'll be cutting out the lining to go with it, because if you are making a beautiful garment, you just have to make it completely and make it look beautiful and have a nice result. So this is the back piece, and always ensure to cut the back piece you want to ensure you have 2 pieces. Make sure you cut it out and it looks exactly alike, so you can have equal measurements when you're sewing your fabric. You don't want to have one longer and one short. So here is my back pieces, the 2 pieces for the back, the 2 pieces of lining for the back, the unfold for the front piece, and the unfold for the lining pieces. Now let's take this to the sewing machine, but before we do that, let's spread out our front pattern and see a visual effect of what we are going for. So this is how our front is supposed to look. Now let's go to the sewing machine. Facing the right side of our fabric and the right side of our lining together, we'll be sewing our hem line for our flare skirt for the front. Since it is on fold, we just have to open onto a very big one, and we are sewing the hem line so that we can have a well knit finishing at the hem. As you can see, I have sewed it from one end to another end of the hem line, and ensure you, as you sew, you are pressing and ironing, because it gives a very beautiful finishing when you iron as you sew. So now I'll be taping in the edge of the lining to the waist, because I want to ensure that every piece of the lining is where it's supposed to be, because flares can be funny. If you miss one step, you've missed everything. So ensure you make sure that everything is in place when you are sewing, and cross check to ensure that nothing is going where it's not supposed to go. So that will serve as our waistline, and our hem line has already been made. Give that a good press, and let's move on to our waist measurement, our back measurement rather. So for the back, we'll be starting with the lining, and you know we have to put a zip to make it easy to wear and easy to place. So for the zip, I've decided to rule out I'm using an invisible zip to start with, and I've decided to cut to get the length I want to use from the zip measurement. So after placing it on my desired length on the lining, I will now be using a tape rule to determine the length of the allowance I have left for our zip. So doing this ensures that you place the same amount you have used for your lining, you replicate that on your fabric, so you don't have any errors while you're sewing. And also make sure that you put a safety pin and an office pin rather into the zip, so you can know where you are stopping. All these little guidelines help out when you are sewing, so you don't sew beyond where you're supposed to sew, and you don't stop over where you're not supposed to stop. So now for the part where the office pin is, so we'll be doing a straight sewing from there, leaving 1 inch allowance that we've taken from our pattern for our zip allowance. So the zip allowance is 1 inch, so we'll be sewing down from that place that we marked for the zip down to the hem line to give a guideline for our zip, and that will be our back center back. So we'll stitch it back, and then let's see what we have. This is looking beautiful already. As you can see, a beautiful lining is gives birth to a beautiful fabric and a beautiful front, and it just makes everything works in your sewing. So next thing we'll be doing now is our back original pattern. Excuse me for that. So we'll be doing our back original pattern. We'll be replicating what we did on our lining. So the allowance I took out the other time for the zip allowance, which is 9.5, I'll be replicating it back on the main back material. So we'll be leaving the 9.5 and then we'll be stitching it down on a 1-inch allowance. For the zipper allowance, we'll be stitching it from that 9.5 to stitch it down. Ensure you always check that you are using your 1-inch allowance so as not to take from the main measurement of the clothes. So you'll be taking that from that place straight down to the hem to form a guide for the back. So that will be the back center piece. So we are joining that together to give us one full fold of our skirt, leaving only the zip allowance. I hope you understand what I'm trying to I hope you understand what I'm trying to show you so far. Sorry, I lost my voice a bit, but I got it back now. So now we have to cut out the thread and make sure that everything is in place. Then we have to join the back material to the back lining. So now that is the place we believe that we left for our zip, and that is our zip. Now we'll attach our zip to the zip allowance space that we've left on our back piece. So using our 1-inch row that we have left, we'll be placing our zip on our allowance there, so it's easy to take back to the machine to sew. I like to do this because I realize it makes it easy for sewing, because once everything is placed, you don't have to I guess and just sew what you feel like, but rather you're following the accuracy of what you've placed down. So it's best when you are sewing to always remember that the office pin is your best friend. It's not there for decoration, it's your best friend. What you pin down is what you will get to sew, and it's not going to be shifting because you've pinned it the right way. So yeah, I couldn't wait. I just wanted to see how it will look with the invisible zip after sewing, and it's looking beautiful already. So now that we are placing the pin on the other side, let's call one right and we'll call the other left. So now I'm placing the pins on our left side to get the accurate measurement, like you can see in this video, and I have done it and it's already looking so beautiful. So let's take this back to the machine and press it and give it a good press to make sure that everything has been stitched intact to where it's supposed to be. Sewing invisible zip can be very tricky, and if you like to see a video like that, just comment in the comment section and I will be sure to do a video on how I achieve my invisible zips. And you can see it's perfection. Just look at that stitch, look at how neat it looks, and look at how clean it looks. There is nothing wrong with you getting a ready-to-made vibe with an outfit you made yourself. Perfection cannot be gotten in a day, but you have to work towards it. So if you like to see how I got my perfect invisible zip stitch like this, just stay tuned on this page with me and comment in this comment section, and I will surely drop a video on how I do my invisible zip. So now I'll be joining the hem of the skirt, the back skirt I mean. Since we are done with our invisible zip, now we'll be joining the hem. So now, as you know, I like to say, the office pin is your friend. So we'll secure the whole hem line with our office pin, making sure that you are pinning the right side of the fabric to the right side of the lining, as you can see, and then we will sew our hem line to give a well defined hem. And always make sure to remember when you are sewing to remove the pins while you are sewing, because it could cause a lot of damage if your machine runs over it. Is it that you have a needle break, or it could even get hooked inside your machine and you don't want to go through that stress. So it's best to just remove the pins while you are sewing, so it's just easy, and then it makes things so easy for you and you are not stressed out before you even finish making your garments. That's a little inside scoop for you, and I hope you follow that. So now we are done with our hem, and we'll get to see how beautiful garments come together. Our flare skirt is almost done and I can't wait to show you guys. So this is the sewing of our hem from one end to another. As you can see, it looks very cutesy, very demure, and very so stylishly sewed. So the next thing we'll be doing is to cut out any pieces of thread that seems to be dangling, and then we'll give it a good press. You know, as I always say, the iron is your best friend as a sewist. You can't do without ironing your pieces, and you have to do it at every step. So yeah, both my pieces, the front and the back, laying them down, and then we'll be sewing on both sides. So after the stitching, you give it a good press. It should look like this is our full flare skirt ready. The only thing remaining is to add our band, and then don't forget, for your band you have to use a stay. I chose to use a soft stay for this one, for this project I did today. I used a soft stay project, and then I have tried other stays, but I just realized I love the outcome with this one and I have stick to it. So let's take it to the machine and sew. And here is the final result. Don't tell me you don't like this. Thank you for staying with me to the end of this beautiful tutorial, and if you would like to see more videos from me, please do like, share and subscribe. Bye, see you in my next one.